the world is rebirthing itself. Like, everyone out there that is experiencing this fear from the coronavirus and whatnot, it's an internalized trauma that's happened. Now, if you guys have worked with me in any of my workshops, I did a fibromyalgia workshop last year. I've done HIV workshops last year. I've done inner child workshops. This is the one thing that always comes back as a main contributing factor to all of them, because they're all tied to your immune system, right? So when your immunity starts absorbing fear, it starts crashing, all right? And it starts opening holes into your reality. And we know this already. But what is it that you really need to pay attention with this understanding is, if the coronavirus is an immune issue, the first thing it's going to go for is not only fear, it's also going to go for your inner child trauma. So I'm calling you out right now. Training with my guru for the last 2 weeks, I ended up realizing that my inner child was running a shit show inside of me. Like, that was the reason why I couldn't get a lot of things done, because it was still holding on to a bunch of different things that no longer served me, basically. One of those things happened to be abundance, right? I always had this fear, oh my God, abundance, because I've been homeless, right? Abundance, because I've seen my family have these ebbs and flows of having everything and then having absolutely nothing. Abundance, because that's kind of like just what the 3D world is focusing on. Now, this is one of the things I really learned around this time, was that my inner child had this trauma around money. And because of it, it drove a large percentage of my career to collect funds, like collect money. But then that always aligns you with other people who are trying to collect that same exact perception, right? So in an earlier podcast, I told you about abundance, and abundance being like this vibration that you just have to embody. You have to understand that you surrender into it instead of actually hustling for it, right? And a lot of people are like struggling with abundance. This morning, literally on my Facebook, I posted an article that says, like, if you're a multidimensional being and you're aware and you're conscious and you're woke, right, and you're awake, there's no reason why you should be dealing with abundance. There's absolutely no reason you should be dealing with abundance. That shouldn't be even a problem for you. And someone commented on that Facebook page and said, This is a really high horse thing to be pushing on normal human people who are dealing with like the hysteria at large every day. And someone tried to call me out on it. And I said, this post wasn't posted for normal humans. Like, this is posted for my tribe. This is posted for the people who actually understand it and need to solidify this right now. Okay? If you're somebody who is struggling with abundance right now, the biggest issue is you don't want the abundance. You don't trust yourself with the abundance. That's really what it comes down to. And that's stemming from your inner child. Maybe somebody took something away from you and it's always resonated with you for the rest of your life. So this is one of the things that I actually learned with my guru these past 2 weeks. When I was a little kid, I was 6 years old. I went to a KB Toys with my mom. My mom had the money to buy me that toy, okay? And, walking through this memory again, it was really interesting because I had seen this Transformer Beast Wars toy. It was a cheetah. Super rare. Had been looking for it forever. Wasn't able to find it. This was the first and only one. They only had one copy of it there. And I was like, oh my God, I need this. Now, granted, it was all of like $8 at the time. And I knew for a fact my mom had the cash. She just didn't want to buy it for me. But my Earth mother, she is a narcissist. Both of my Earth parents are narcissists. So, and I didn't click this until I was in this retreat thing, doing it with my guru. My parents didn't want to buy that for me because it wasn't coming from them. Like, I wanted it, so they didn't want to give it to me. For them to get it for me, they would have had to like come up with the idea for themselves. And it was always like this perpetual game. Like if I really wanted something, don't say anything about it, just hint to it or do something else, or don't even have an attachment to it because they're not going to get it for you anyway, right? And that's how I grew up. Learn like, why have an attachment to a house when that house is not going to be here? Why have an attachment to another person when that person is just eventually not going to be here? Like nothing's permanent. Why I'm just going to be candid. Why the fuck am I trying? Like is essentially how I felt about it. And looking back on that moment, what was crazy is like when I was a little kid, I had this magnetism where people just wanted to make me happy. They wanted to give me everything. So I remember when I put it down, I started crying. I couldn't control it. I was freaking out. And I was like, you don't get it. Oh my God. You're gonna screw this up for me, right? And that's what I'm internalizing as a little kid. This guy comes out of nowhere and he sees me having a meltdown. And he's like, hey, I can buy it for him. And my mom was like, no, he doesn't need things from strangers. Now, this is some guy who just randomly sees this kid freaking out over a Transformer toy. Out of the kindness of his heart, wants to help out. She turns him down. So then it solidified even this deeper aspect that, like, even when someone's there to try to help me, it's not going to happen. Like, the help is not going to actually mean anything. The gesture doesn't mean anything because it didn't get anything accomplished. Now that's deep for a 6-year-old to like really process, right? And I'm going through this and I'm feeling like this intense resentment and even hatred towards my Earth Mother. And during this time, like I had to really recognize that I had pushed on a lot of negative feelings, towards a lot of different aspects of my inner child. My guru's like, could you buy that toy today? And I was like, you know what? Yeah, I could. And he's like, so why don't you just buy it right now? And I was just like, it never hit me to buy it right now. So he stopped our meditation, forces me to go online and find the toy. And at first I'm like looking at this toy, and of course it's from the 90s, so they're selling at like some of the first ones I'm looking at are like $300, $400, $500, and I'm like, I'm not spending $500 on a freaking toy. Like, are you kidding me? And he was like, just keep looking. He was like, when you find the exact manifest, and it's 1:30 on my clock right now. When you find the exact manifest, you'll know. So I kept digging, and I found one that was exactly $70, the cheapest one I could find. Still really expensive. So he forces me to buy it, and when it comes out literally on the cart, I'm huge on numerology, it's 8373 exactly, okay? And it being 8373, it was those numbers were telling me this is an abundant moment. The 3's masters are with you, 7 this is harmony, 8 abundance, this is all like to solidify and close a door. So then I'm like, okay, I bought it. And the moment I bought it, he's like, let's go back into meditation. I go back into meditation, and I literally witness my inner child own the toy. And in a way, I was able to see that my consciousness in this exact moment with my guru somehow manipulated that time space through that guy to try to even still get me that. It was me helping myself, but my mother was the person who ended up like closing that door for me, and I hadn't even realized it as a kid, but I'm realizing it now as a 29-year-old, almost a 30-year-old. And I'm like, oh my God, I'm like, this is like deja vu. So then all of a sudden it backtracks for me, and it shows me my cloud cards. For instance, when I was a little kid, I used to watch my like the show that the cloud cards come from, and I was so like, oh my God, one day I just wish I can have this, I can have this, I can have this. And it would be so cool to have like magical cards that actually do something for reality. Fast forward like a couple years ago, I found somebody who custom makes these. I get them. When I get them, they all align with the Antojai Alchemy keys, and bam, like I actually have my cloud cards. It took me 20 something years to get the cloud cards and physical manifestation, but my manifestation was still mine. It still came to me, like whatever. So here I am again as a child freaking out over this Transformers toy, but my manifestation just came true because I just bought I just bought it. I own it. Like, my inner child has owned it forever. And I was able to release this negative energy of not feeling worthy enough if someone's going to try to help me, not being open to actually accepting help if someone is actually going to come try to help me, and not valuing myself, allowing my power to be in somebody else's hands. As a child, I let my power be in my mother's hands. And when she chose not to get it for me, and then she shut down somebody else trying to get it for me, I felt completely powerless. All right, my power, my voice, my authenticity, my heart, my desires, my magnetism, my manifest, me didn't matter. Nothing was going to ever help me grow and move forward. The moment that last thought really triggered a profound understanding inside of me, I started coughing uncontrollably. My heart felt like somebody took a stake, like a vampire stake, and stabbed me through the heart. My thymus felt like it was on fire. I fell to the floor, and I felt like I was on ayahuasca again. I'm not kidding you. I felt like I was on ayahuasca again. And that's when ayahuasca was starting to talk to me. She was like, you came in June 2019 and you asked for a guru to help you move past these inner child traumas. You asked me to help you accept 100% of your abilities because you were running at 95%. Here, I'm still with you. I'm still working with you. Don't you forget that time is an illusion. I never left. You started living the dream and you forgot, and you created distance between us. And it was like, whoa, like completely mind-blowing. And once I'm done having this like really deep moment, tripping, gone, like all these really crazy things, I came back and I'm like, the first thing that came out of my mouth, everything I've ever wanted has always come to be. Is the straight up truth. And I know for some people that's going to sound like arrogant, and that's going to like rub you the wrong way. But that's not me being arrogant. That's me stating a fact. Like, I wanted the cloud cards. All I had to do was allow like 3D time to bring them to my reality. I wanted this toy as an inner child. Now I have it. You know, I've wanted to switch my business a million times over, and I have always attained the next level that I'm looking for. Meaning, my manifest and how big my manifest was actually impacting me was only bound to how much weight I was giving the limitations that I had created to limit my manifest. Okay, so because I was believing that I couldn't have everything, I wasn't getting everything, all because of that moment in my inner child. When I let go of that, I'm not even kidding you, like the shop got slammed. Like I was still on vacation, and the shop was just boop 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 boop, boop collecting people, like people trying to like, hey, I need to get in. When can I get in? Can I get in? And it got so busy where I'm like, hey, I can only take X amount of people right now. Like this is all I can do right now. And it's crazy. Like I've been able to see so many things, and because of it, I felt more energy come to me. I've been literally feeling higher resonance of energy. I've been feeling more powerful, more confident, more secure. I'm not worrying about money. Okay, I'm just literally living. And I was able to see that like even addictions inside of me had been cut loose. And this is the power of you right now taking this time to grow.